In this video, we're going to look at absolute and relative cell referencing, which is probably one of the most powerful things you can actually do in Excel because it saves you having to repeat formulas if you can copy it across. So here we've got milk cost per carton of $3.10, and we've got between 1 and 10 cartons. So we're trying to work out the cost. So we know how to do a multiply. So equals, the first cell is A4, that's the 1 carton. The multiply is the asterisk, shift 8. And then we want to multiply that by the $3.10. So that should work, right? There is a problem with this, although this answer will actually work out. Hit enter, $3.10 for 1 carton. That makes sense. But now if I autofill this down, so I'm double left clicking in the right hand corner, and you can see it's got some problems with it. So apparently 2 cartons are free. Let's have a look at that formula. 2 cartons is right, but it's multiplying it by a blank cell. The next one down, 3 cartons is right, but it's multiplying that by the word cost, which is why the error is coming up. So what we want to do is we want to lock cell B1. We don't want it to change, and that's called absolute referencing. So let's go to the first of the formulas. B1 was what we wanted not to change, so we click on the B1 and we press the F4 key. And the F4 key, as you can see, has put dollars around it. And that's called locking the cell. That's applying absolute referencing. And the beauty of that is it means when I drag that cell down, it will stay B1, B1, B1. If I drag it across, it will go B1, B1, B1. It will not change regardless. Now, we don't lock this cell because we want A1 to turn to we want number 1 to turn to number 2 to number 3. We want cell A4 to turn to A5 to turn to A6. So we only want to absolute reference the B1. Hit enter, double left click. Now it's given us the right answers. Let's have a look at the last of the formulas as an example. Now pressing F2 to get into the formula here, but you can click up here as well. So A13 is where the 10 is, multiplied by B1, which is where the $3.10 is. So you can see the B1 has been locked. That is absolute referencing. So let's look at another example. In this case, we've got chocolates and we've got drinks. As you can have 0 to 5 drinks, you can have 0 to 5 chocolates. And we want a grid to work out what the cost is so we don't have to work it out every time. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into currency because these particular numbers, we want them to be in dollars. So you've got 2 options with the currency and accounting. And you can see it puts the dollars on there, no problem. So our formula here is going to be equals, and we know it's going to be the number of drinks, which is here. And it's going to multiply, remember that is shift 8, by the cost per drink. And that's going to give us how much the drinks will cost. So what sort of referencing do we need to do here? Now the B2, that $2.50 will never change. That has to be that number. So if I click on the B2 and press the F4 key, it has locked it. So the B2 will not change. Question is, do we want the C5 to change? So if I drag it down, we want C5 to turn into C6. So we want the number to change. But if I drag across, I don't want the C5 to turn to D5. I want it to stay C5 because that's where the number of drinks is. So clicking on the C5, if I press this, I'll lock it. Now, if I drag across, it stays C5. Good. But if I drag down, it stays C5. Not so good. So I can press the F4 again. And you can see the dollars come off the C. So if I drag across, it will change C5 to D5. Not good. Press it again. And you can see the C has been locked and the 5 is not locked anymore. So this is relative referencing, where one of the things is locked and not the other. So you can just press F4 as many times as you like to toggle through this. But we want the C to be locked and not change, and the 5 to be unlocked in this case. So if we do this, this will give us the number of drinks, or the cost of the drinks. Plus, now we want to multiply the number of chocolates, which is this one here. Now, as we think about that, as we drag it down, we want this one to stay as 0. But as we drag it across, we want it to change to 1, 2, 3. So in this case, if I press the F4 twice, the number is locked, so it will not change. But the D is not locked, so it will, and that's relative referencing. And we still have to multiply that by the cost per chocolate. And again, we don't want that to change because that's one cell. So we absolute reference that one, lock it completely. Hit enter, no money. Well, that's what you expect. And when I drag across, so no drinks, 1 chocolate, $3.50. No drinks, 2 chocolates, $7. That seems to be working. Drag that down. No chocolates, 5 drinks, $12.50. Yep, that works. Over here, you've got 5 drinks and 5 chocolates, $30. It's worked. So that's how you can save yourself a lot of effort by doing absolute and relative referencing beforehand, because then you can just drag the formulas. This will take practice, guys. It's not as straightforward as you think. You will lock the wrong thing. So until you get used to it, check that you've got the results you expect to get. But when you have got it down, it saves you so much work. So I hope this helps with absolute and relative referencing.